I have to say, when we discussed this in our post-programme meeting about today's show yesterday, and we talked about hugging, you shuddered, didn't you? You actually went, ugh, because it turns you off so much. Why do you feel in the same boat on this?
Do you know what? I think in the environments that I've worked with, the very corporate, professional environments, when I've worked hard to try and get an appointment to get a sale, I've been into the appointment and then I've had really creepy, sleazy sort of people going for a hug and a handshake. Then you get that awkward, in the middle, do you kiss them on the cheek, don't you? And then sometimes they do the continental where they kiss you both sides, and it just completely changes the dynamic of the meeting.
So you think creepy men use the excuse of a hug to actually cop a feel, is basically what you're saying?
Sometimes I've had, when someone's, and this is another thing as well, someone's once shaken my hand and then someone else has come over and then they've kept hold of my hand while the other person's talking, so I'm in this weird triangle. And for me, I just think, if you want to touch your colleague, go out for a drink afterwards, or if you want physical contact, go to wherever you want to go to.
So simplify it by making it a rule. Just
then you know where you stand.
You OK with a handshake?
Yeah, handshake is fine, because a handshake is different, isn't it? A firm, positive handshake that's really professional, whereas...
It's very clear, isn't it, a handshake?
Where the boundaries are. And sometimes, and this is another thing, have you ever shook someone's hand, they've just come back from the toilet, and then you have a wet handshake, and it just freaks me out. I'm like, oh, no.
And you don't know why. Emiliana,
hi.
However, you want to go in for the full hug and the continental
No, I don't
kiss.
want to go in for the full hug, but there's sometimes it's appropriate, and I think by banning it, it's another thing that we're banning.
When is it appropriate?
Well, we're adults. We're adults. I don't think we should be told when we can and can't hug somebody. And if you're going to put a time limit on it, so in the workplace you can't hug. If I come into a toilet at a place of work, there's somebody sad or unhappy, am I then going to have to go, oh, no, I can't show you any affection?
Oh, no, but that's not... But that goes into the personal then, doesn't it? Then you're being personally compassionate.
OK, so, for example, the first time I came on this show, I was really nervous because I don't work in TV that often, and somebody asked me about my name, and then they asked me about my father, who'd just passed away, and at that moment, I think it was Piers, I can't remember, he put his arm on me or hugged me or something, and I felt so much better. I felt immediately calmer. I felt really grateful to be in a place where people had empathy.
I totally agree.
And I think that there's the right time sometimes, and I think, why are we banning everything? We're becoming robots.
Have you ever been in a situation, though, where you have had that unwanted hug or that unwanted kiss, and then it makes you feel really uncomfortable? But for me, I don't need to welcome that, and I don't want to be in that situation where then I feel like, oh, do you know what, is this person...
But she's speaking to 75% of office workers. 3/4 of people in this survey said that they feel like her and like
OK,
Susanna.
do you know what? If there's one creepy person in the office that's hugging inappropriately, sack the pervert. Why do we all have to change our behaviour?
And there are pervy
because there's one pervert in the office, sack them.
And we talk about clean, simple handshakes, but actually they can be a bit pervy as well, can't they? You know, the guy who won't let go.
I totally agree that if somebody's having a hard time, that changes the rules.
But that might be at the workplace. Real life, you come to work, even though behind closed doors you've got bad things going on. We're not robots. If you have a moment at work, it means a lot if somebody comes to you and gives you... Is that offensive to you? That can't be offensive to you.
Well, actually, that raises an interesting point. What about a woman-on-woman hug? Are you as worried about that?
Sometimes I feel you've just got to judge the situation when you're in it. I mean, sometimes you even have awkward hugs with the same sex. I'm just going to put it out there. And again, I think you use your common sense, don't you, in them sort of dynamics.
You do use your common sense, so why are you suggesting we ban it? Why are you agreeing to ban something?
As a whole,
because it simplifies the issue, so everyone knows where they stand.
I think that's really sad.
No,
I think that we're becoming robots.
But also in the industry that you work with, relationships, obviously your natural instinct is to touch because physical contact generally changes the energy.
But it is a man-on-woman thing. I mean, for example,
it reduces stress levels.
We saw Tim giving a comedy hug at the opening there with the cameraman. But actually, you and I have a little hug sometimes, don't we, Tim? Because we've known each other for 30 years. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. And imagine in football matches, imagine in sports, it's actually been tested. Imagine if footballers were no longer allowed to hug or high five.
Come on, Timbo. You see, we even went the wrong way there. We go right to left, don't we? We go right to left. Yeah.
Was that so bad? Can you imagine if you weren't allowed to do that?
Friends, aren't they? They're not
both were in on it.
OK,
no, Tim hated it.
If somebody's coming up to you and touching you and you're not consenting to that, that's a whole different issue.
But also, because you're in that environment, because you work with that person, sometimes you can't say, please don't touch me, because then you're making this issue where really, there's an issue, don't you?
If that's your biggest problem, you're worried that someone's... I just think that's not really
it makes me feel uncomfortable. I think in the world
give
that
her
we
a
are...
hug. Go on.
Well, lovely to see you both.
Thank you.
Very good for coming in. I don't actually say anything. I just have an invisible force field. But if it was personal, and I've definitely had hugs and hugged people at work.
Does Piers hug you?
No. That invisible force field goes
Great
all the way
field.
down there.
It's interesting, though. A lot of people getting in touch about this. Michael says how much physical contact depends on the person and how well or little you know them. Common sense should dictate how you show it. But there's a lot of people saying, yes, ban it. Dave says it's very inappropriate. Keep out of my personal space. Carl says I'd rather no one touch me, even on the shoulder. It is just not professional.
Well, I hugged Judy when I first met her, and look where that led.
There we go. You see, that's what we're all afraid of.
Children.
Where does
Procreation.
It end? Where does it end?